Hi kids. In today's session, you are going to learn about Mesopotamian civilization. In the Greek language, Meso means in between and Potamus means river. The Euphrates and Tigris flow here and drain into the Persian Gulf. Since this area is in between two rivers, so it is known as Mesopotamia. The northern part of Mesopotamia is known as Assyria and the southern part is called Babylonia. Actually here four types of the kingdoms were there. That four types of the kingdom only we are going to see here: Sumerian, Akkadian, Babylonian and Assyrian. First we will enter to the Sumerians. The oldest civilization in Mesopotamia belonged to the Sumerians. The Sumerians were the contemporaries of the people of Indus and Egyptian civilization. These civilizations had trade connection. The Sumerians settled in the lower Tigris Valley around 5000 to 4000 BC. They were believed to have originated from Central Asia. They founded many cities and Nippur was one of the important cities. In that Nippur only they had the Hellenes temple. What they had there in the Nippur central around, they had the Enlil's temple. Okay, it was the center of the Enlil's worship for them. They developed the cuneiform writing system. During the early phase of the Sumerian civilization, kings acted as the chief priest. Their political domination came to an end by 2450 BC. Next, Akkadians. Akkadians dominated Sumeria briefly from 2450 to 2250 BC. The Sargon of Akkad was a famous ruler. The Sargon and his descendants ruled Mesopotamia for more than 100 years. In the cuneiform records of Akkadians, mention is made about the Indus civilization. That means Sumerians also they know about the Indus civilization, as well as the Akkadians also know about the Indus civilization. Okay, the Babylonians. The Semitic people called Amorites from the Arabian desert moved into Mesopotamia. They were known as the Babylonians. The people who came from Saudi Arabia to Mesopotamia were called as the Babylonians. By the time of the king Hammurabi, they extended their domination in the western part of Mesopotamia. The powerful states of Ur and Babylon controlled this region. Ur and Babylon both are kings. Okay, the hero Gilgamesh, referred to in the first ever epic on the earth, may have been a king of Sumeria. Hammurabi, the sixth king of Babylon, belonged to the first Amorite dynasty, attained fame as a great lawmaker. Next, we will move on to the Assyrians. The Assyrian Empire was politically active in Mesopotamia around 1000 BC. The Assyrian kings were the priest of Ashur, the chief deity of Assyria. The Assyrian government was controlled by the emperor, and provincial governors were appointed by the emperor to administer provinces. That means what they are saying, emperor, the king is the main person to rule the country. Under the king, the administrator of the province also, they were appointed by the king there. Okay, they were called as the governor. Assur was the capital city of Assyria. Ashurbanipal was a popular ruler of the late or new Assyrian Empire. He maintained a famous library of cuneiform records. The Assyrians worshipped the deity of Lamassu for protection. Next, we will see about the society, state and administration during the Mesopotamian period. The Sumerian civilization had many city-states. A typical Sumerian city was surrounded by cultivable lands. That means the city center, the city will be there. Around that city only, what there was the cultivable land. The fortified Sumerian cities had the temples called ziggurats at its center. The temple was controlled by the priest. Priest means one who is doing pujas to the god. Priests, scribes, and nobles were part of the government. The rulers and priests occupied the top of the social hierarchy. The ruler performed the role of the chief priest. The ruler means king only. King, how he performed here? He performed as a chief priest. And also the people, what they believed, king is the supreme god on the earth. The scribes, merchants, and artisans were placed next in the hierarchy. The scribes maintained the account of the tax and the priest collected the taxes. Only maintaining the account only scribe people they done there, but collecting the taxes priest alone they did. The temple act as a storehouses of the taxed commodities. What are the things they are collecting as the tax? That everything it was stored in the temple. Assemblies were created for the administration of the state. Cultivable lands were owned by the kings and the higher classes of the people in the hierarchy. That means all the cultivable lands it will be under the kings as well as higher class of people of that empire. The peasants who remained in the temples in the earlier phase of Mesopotamian civilization became free from that association in the later period. Before that, what they did, they kept the peasant in the temple itself. For what purpose? To take care of the land. But after that, they were freed from there. Actually, they were treated as the slaves alone, peasants. Not all people were allowed to live in the cities. Food and agriculture. Agriculture was the main occupation of the Mesopotamians. They had developed irrigation system for ensuring the availability of water for agriculture and cultivated wheat, barley, onion, turnip, grapes, apples and dates. They domesticated cattle, sheep and goats. Fish was part of their diet. Trade and exchange. Trade was an important economic activity of the Mesopotamian society. Traders assisted in the exchange of goods procured from the potters and artisans. They traded with Syria and Asia Minor in the west, Iran and the Indus Valley civilization in the east. They traveled in ships across the sea for trade. The temples acted as a banks and lent credit on their own account. The Mesopotamian documents have reference to loan and repayment with or without interest. Actually, this is the first written evidence of charging an interest on borrowed money. Cities and town planning. The Mesopotamian cities featured mud or baked brick walls with gates, biggest gates. Some people lived in redoubts outside the cities. They were not allowed to live in the cities. Next, religion. The Sumerian religion was polytheistic. They worshipped several gods and goddesses. The Sumerian prayed to the sky and wind. Enlil, their god name is Enlil. That only god of the sky and wind. They call the god of the sky and wind as a Enlil. The city of Nippur, this one already I told. It was the center of the Enlil's worship. Okay. Next, the Babylonian, they worshipped Marduk, and the Assyrians worshipped Ashur. Okay. Next, we will move on to the Hammurabi's law code. The Hammurabi's code is an important legal document that specifies the laws related to various crimes. It has 282 provisions specifying cases related to family rights, trade, slavery, taxes and wages. It is carved on a stone which portrays Hammurabi as receiving the code from the sun god Shamash. From where he got that one, that Hammurabi, the king Hammurabi, he received this, all that means the law code from the god sun itself. They are written in that Hammurabi's code, the script is there. In that one, they mention like that alone, that Hammurabi, King Hammurabi, he received that law code from the sun god. It was a compilation of old laws based on retributive principles. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth form a justice is used in the Hammurabi's code. Okay, what is the meaning of it? If anybody, that means if you are cutting on person's hand means definitely for you the punishment is your hand also it will be cut by the government. Okay, like that punishment only. If you are killed any person means the government will kill you. Okay, this is the type of the punishment it was given during the Mesopotamian civilization. Cuneiform, the Sumerian writing system. The shape of the letter is in the form of wedge, so it is called as a cuneiform. Art. The Mesopotamian art included sculptures in stone and clay. A few paintings and sculptures from the Mesopotamian times have survived nowadays. Mesopotamian sculptures portray animals such as goats, rams, bulls, and lions. That means they know about these animals. Some mythological figures like lions and bulls with human head have also been found in their art. That means in their art, how they painted their human head will be there, but the body only will be in the shape of lion, otherwise the bull. Next, science. The Mesopotamian excelled in mathematics, astronomy, and medicine. They developed the concepts of multiplication, division, and cubic equation. The numerical system based on 60 was conceived by them. They were the ones to formulate the 60-minute equal to 1 hour and the 24-hour day also. Okay, and the 360-degree circle also introduced by Mesopotamian people. The Sumerian calendar had 7 days in a week. Their numerical system had place values also. Ones place, tens place, 100 place. We are saying no. That place value also it had there. They created the water clock and the lunar calendar based on the movement of the moon. They developed methods for measuring areas and solids. They also developed advanced weight and measurement system also. They introduced the 12-month calendar system based on lunar months. Their ideas influenced most probably Greek astronomy. They had developed a medicinal system. A text called the Diagnostic Handbook, dated to the 11th century BC, lists symptoms and prognosis. This indicates their scientific understanding of herbs and minerals. Next, what are the contribution? Already I told what are the contribution they given in the science, isn't it? And the invention of the pottery wheel also created by the Sumerians.